Welcome to GenFriends. I'm your host, Cheri Hudson Passey from Carolina Girl Genealogy. And as you can see, we've got Dan Earl-Family History Guy.
Hello.
Making funny faces at the camera as
That's
usual.
just my normal face.
We've got Melissa Barker, our archive lady. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, everybody. There. Hi, everybody.
and Laura Hedgecock from Treasure Chest of Memories. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Guys, thanks so much for being here tonight. We made it to day 5 of season 11 of Relative Race. Day 5. It's going by really fast. It always goes by really fast. This was another emotional episode in a little different ways, but still it was very there's some touching things that are happening on this season. And I don't know that I could film all this kind of stuff. It was me. I just don't know if I would want people in my face filming all this kind of stuff, but we're glad they do because we love this show, right?
Yeah. I think I think it's been said on some social media channels, and I just think that we probably have had this in the past with other seasons. They just were showing it more. And I think it's more realistic, as genealogist. Think about it as genealogist. It's not all, chocolate chips and cookies and milk. It's it's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Exactly.
And I'm always encouraging genealogists to not shy away from the bad and the ugly.
Absolutely.
Because that's part of your story too. And if you don't tell the whole story, it doesn't, there's lots of the stories that explain other stories or other things. And so I'm kind of grateful. It's hard to watch, but I'm grateful that they're showing everything. I mean, well, more.
Right. Well, it's not true to life. If every family connection, it was all just this fairy tale thing where everything was fine, and life is not like that. And so you shouldn't have a TV show that's giving people false hopes that if they, that it's going to be an easy trip and you're not going to have any emotion and everything is just going to be fine. It's not real life. And so the emotions this season, I don't think they're any more intense than other seasons. I just think that, I don't know, maybe we've got more.
I think it's the stories, know.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Laura.
Yeah, I think you're both right. And I think like even to appreciate people's joy, if you don't know their sorrow beforehand, you can't fully digest their joy. And so it's something we all experience. I mean, we're happy for other people because we know it hasn't always been happy for them. And also it's people want, I think from a storytelling standpoint too, people want to root for somebody.
Yeah.
And if everybody's all ponies and rainbows, there's nothing to root for.
That's a good point.
And not only that, you think about all the adoptees that are out there. And if they're watching this, and if every story is happy and wonderful and butterflies and flowers, and they'll get in there and do that, and then they find the other, they need to have the full what they could find before they jump into something like that.
Exactly.
That is very, very true. Because they counsel adoptees to be prepared for any outcome.
Right. Okay, now, as genealogists, how much did you love that Thaddeus got to go to that church? Thaddeus and Karen, they got to go to the family church. They met the family historian.
Yay!
Who had the 100-year-old history of the church. It was amazing. And all those pictures and photographs that were inside of it, so he could learn.
That church itself is amazing.
Gorgeous. And the whole history behind it, that it used to be, it was, they got it from her enslaved ancestor, and his ancestors' enslaved ancestor. So that was beautiful in and of itself. And I was like going, what? So cool. There's family history right there in that book. I would love to have a book like that with all that information about one of my ancestors. So I was a little jealous. So it was great. And then we get to Nolan and they're unrolling this.
I know.
It's falling off the table. It's like a tablecloth with an overhang.
Like, okay, somebody was way prepared for this one and you got to see all that stuff. I was so excited about those two. I'm glad they showed us that. I love it when they show these little bit of extra things that happened And especially when they have anything to do with family history, because that makes us real excited, right? Yes.
Yes.
It was interesting. Somebody made the comment that they have felt like the teams are not having too much trouble at all getting to their challenges. It's getting to the relative's house.
Oh, well.
And I'm thinking, yeah, it does seem to be, although Team Red had a few problems getting out and they had to kind of turn around. But what I loved is they found somebody and they asked them, do you know where this, never mind. That's when they went to the relative's house. We'll talk about that in a minute. So anyway, so they pretty much all made it to the challenge without too much hiccups. And we got to remember that all the teams are going to get a penalty, right? Because from Team Green. And then so everybody's going, we're after Team Green, which is so funny because there's nothing they can do to Team Green. It's just, it's just how it is. It's just how it worked out. It's not like Team Green chose, you're gonna have a penalty and you're gonna have a penalty and you're gonna have a penalty. They just happened to win, and that's what happened, right?
This is the first year that I can remember. Of course, I've not watched them all, but that it seems like, and they may change it after I say this, but it seems like the penalties they're not directed towards any team.
Exactly.
Every team's getting them.
That's what I mean. Yeah, they're not directing it to anything. So there must just be asking them the question, how do you feel about Team Green? And they're like, oh, Team Green. Just to,
well, I wonder if they've gotten some feedback. The show's gotten some feedback about pointing out and giving these things to certain teams, and so they're just like, okay, we'll give it to everybody.
Give it to everybody.
But remember, there was one year when the team it was a green team, I think. They didn't want to give the penalty.
Yeah, but they told them they had to. Yeah.
There's been a couple of times they've said, do I have to? JD didn't want to give a penalty.
True. That's true. Dan's going, give him the penalty.
I know.
Just give him the penalty.
But it definitely, it would feel fun. I mean, plus, once again, it really wasn't a penalty. It was that the green team had a 5-foot advantage.
That's right. And that's what happened. Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Advantage. Yep. This was called the Castaway. Anybody want to explain it? It took me a minute.
I don't want to explain it, but I want to tell you what it reminded me of. Do you all remember going to like a local fair or the carnival or something, and you have the big pool with the ducks in there, and you had this little fishing rod, and you had to hit the top of the ducks and on the turn the duck over, and whatever number you got that prize.
Yes.
That's what it reminded me of.
That's basically what it was. Except for
I think I just explained it.
Scale,
thanks, Melissa.
Bigger magnets, and they were going for a block that had a letter on it, and then there was a little skill required into getting the box over the edge of the little swimming pool.
Right.
So they were casting. So
you had to be a good fisherman to cast. Or they were saying, Tia was good at roping. That was her cowgirl skills, that she could rope them. And then they had to figure out what the word was, and which was funny because it was teamwork.
I was surprised that, I was listening to as they were given or they were talking about where they were going for their challenge. One was the YMCA and one was this and one was that. And I thought, oh, they're fixing to do something really physical.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. But who's doing a great job was Karen.
Yeah.
Mama Red, as people are calling her. She was doing a great job with that. She really was. She was getting those letters. She did a great job. But then again, Team Black timed out again. This is 2 weeks in a row we've had teams that timed out.
But did you notice the time?
I didn't.
It said 20 minutes. So my suspicion is that the others, they may have finished in 15, 17, whatever, but that they're timing out quicker because they're trying to really make, because if you notice, even in the other one where people, well, I guess they all timed out, then they can still be very competitive. I guess. That's my theory. I know nothing.
Right. I don't know in general for the rest of the seasons how much time they had, because we've never really had this problem with timing out other than if there was an injury or something like that. So this is a unique situation, I think, especially 2 weeks in a row. For again, season 11, it's just breaking all the rules. Things are happening that haven't happened before.
They're trying new things because we did see a survey where they're asking about how we feel about penalties and advantages and things like that. But maybe they're just trying something new.
Yeah, sure. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, but we do know that they do have people come. They send out calls for people to come test out their games. So one
That
day
would be a good game for the reunion, for the family reunion.
and I put that. Yep. I was live tweeting. I said, this needs to be in the family reunion book, relative race.
I swear, I'm telling you.
Add a GenFriends hashtag.
Yes,
so
I think we need to do a GenFriends.
Yeah, we should.
Reunion book.
That would be so funny. That would be really, really funny. Let's see, what else was going on? Okay. So after they get through those challenges and they have to get to their relatives, who wants to go? Which relative should we talk about first? Because they had another unique one. So I didn't know if you wanted to go there first. Team Red.
Yeah, let's go Team Red first.
Go ahead, Dan.
Well, they pull up to the house and there was nobody coming out to greet them. So they walk up and there's a note that says, "Come in." So they're expecting a relative.
I would have been expecting lots of relatives. Yeah.
Either lots of relatives or maybe a relative that's differently abled that couldn't come to the door or something like that. And then they walk in and then there's just a laptop sitting at the table, and then they walk around to the laptop and there's the relative, Thaddeus's uncle.
Yeah. Interesting. And of course, then we learn it's because there was some kind of family emergency. He was supposed to be there to greet him, but wasn't able to. But at least, I mean, the Zoom calls probably are not our favorite way for people to meet, but at least they're meeting. That's better than just saying, well, we couldn't have you meet your uncle, because that uncle had a lot of information about his biological mom. And he found out that his biological mom had actually raised her brother, a couple of her brothers. So, that was interesting. And he did find out that she's doing better. Because she's been in the hospital, remember? We were told.
They did say
that she was doing better. So that's good. So, it's not the same as those hugs and all that kind of stuff, but at least he was able to talk and get that information that he needed. And perhaps that's why they didn't say, well, we'll just move another relative into the race or something like that. Melissa, we can't hear you.
You can imagine the timing in all of this,
Yeah.
And all of the having to get everybody in just the right places. And so it's going to happen. It's
going to happen. And at least we've got technology to be able to make it happen if they can't physically be somewhere. So, like we said, we'd rather them be in person, but if they can't, at least they can do that. And he was able to find out that information, which was very important information for him, because he's learning more about his biological mother's personality. Who better than from a brother, right? So a brother that was raised by her. So I thought that was an important person for him to meet. Who do you want to go? Who next? Anyone?
Well, I was excited about the blue team.
I was going to say blue team, yeah.
Because it was almost. Did Cheri fall off? Okay, it was almost like the opposite of last week. So at the blue team, we had John meeting another brother whose name was Ian. And Ian told him he had never met Dustin, the brother that John had already met. And then he says that he has a younger brother that he grew up with. So they're counting and they're like, there's 5 of us. They're figuring it out. But then really what I liked the best was John kind of had gotten to this place where he's really happy about meeting his brothers. And he's like, I'm at peace with maybe even if I don't find anything out about my mom, my dad, or whatever. This is a chapter I can go forward with.
Yeah. It's a very healthy way to look at it.
I thought so too.
It is, well, but you have to get there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You can't just say that and say, oh, that would be a good attitude. I want to believe that. I mean, he really seemed like meeting the brothers has really, and it's true because there's not the baggage with the brothers,
True.
and,
Yeah. Because he was saying, I don't even care if I meet at this point. My computer's doing something weird, so I'm trying to stay on. So y'all keep talking, make sure.
okay.
Everything is plugged in and it keeps telling me my battery is low. Well, it's all plugged in, but that's technology.
Okay.
But I've got this fabulous panel that can keep talking until I figure it out before I go off.
Okay.
And didn't he also say that he never met the mother as well?
He never met the mother, and his younger brother Matthew has never met the mothers. And then so it was really nice. It was kind of like he got, I wrote it in quotes, so I don't know who said it, the answers he needed, not the answers he wanted.
Yeah.
So I thought that was so nice. It was nice to see him kind of make that journey. And 4 brothers, that's
a
lot of tumbling around in the yard and stuff.
Yeah,
they made up for. So, well, while Cheri's doing her computer emergency work, why don't you do green there, Melissa?
Emergency. I still don't know if it's charging correctly, but we'll see.
They went to Palm City, Florida. They met aunt on the mom's side.
Who was so cute. I thought she was so cute.
She was very cute. And she was very had a lot of information for Nolan. Not necessarily good information, but information. And I think it helps to know the whole story so that you can understand what's happened. And so she was able to give him some of that. And so I hope, crossing my fingers, that he'll get to meet his mom. And so, because we've seen this before where it's like they really worked it out well, where some of these family members can tell them about certain things or aspects of their parents or these people they're going to meet before they meet them. It's almost like they're preparing them to meet.
It really was, especially when he talked about what his mom went through emotionally.
Yes.
With the guilt of having given him up, even though, now I think it was Marlene, the aunt's opinion, that his mom was being unselfish, not doing what she wanted to do, but
and that was the most important thing that happened the whole episode.
Technical difficulties are so much fun. So at this point, I had to play around with stuff, and I can't turn my camera on. So, but we can still talk. Where were we? We had talked about.
We were finishing up Team Green, talking about his aunt and the information that she was able to give him about his mom. Right. And I think that will prepare him more for whenever he meets her, which I'm hoping that he'll get to meet her. But his aunt was wonderful.
Oh, she was so cute.
She had the most adorable accent.
I loved her. I loved her so much.
Her and haircut.
Yes. But did you talk about the sad part of that story, however?
Yes.
Yes.
You did that.
We just said that had quite an emotional toll from
right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So then I guess Team Black, we haven't talked about Team Black and Carolyn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another sister for Carolyn.
Another sister.
Yeah.
A sweet person.
Yes. It's like we're getting a ton of family, brothers and sisters. And I think that's so, John's is one of 5 now, which is amazing. And, and now we've got Carolyn with another sister, another big sister. So
yes.
And it sounded like that big sister had some issues too growing up and was raised by an aunt, and she just felt like the two of them could really bond. They had something in common. So
I like the fact too, and we've seen this lots, but I like the fact that as they meet these family members are needing them too.
Yes, I love that as well.
And so that's I can just see the future and how they're going to be able to help each other to go through life and to handle the things they need to handle.
Yeah.
So I wrote down that it was her great grandmother that raised her.
Yes.
She called her Tuta.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, it was somebody couldn't say something.
My
What was it?
sister,
Could
her
say
sister couldn't
sister.
call her sister, and so
Yeah.
that's that, and it just stuck. I love those names that just kind of stick like that, you know? They're so cute. They're just handed
Yes.
down, and you get stuck with them for the rest of your lives, but they're
So she
cute.
didn't. So Angela did not look it, but she is quite a bit older. I mean, she said ages or something, or years or something. She's quite
Oh.
a bit older. So that would also be good to have, like, somebody with
Yeah.
that you're a lot alike, but also somebody that might have some wisdom that you don't have.
Yes. Yeah.
So
That's a good point. That's a good point too. So, yeah, it was interesting watching and how they edited the show because, you know, you're so sad because of Nolan's mom and the things that she had gone through and just feeling for that family. And it's just kind of, you know, Nolan is actually showing some emotion. It's really getting to
Yeah.
him. And then they cut and it's time to go to the
I know.
offices. And I was like, no, that's enough. I told you we need a commercial break.
To get ready.
You know, that is true. A commercial break or a word from their sponsor.
Something. Because it's like it's whiplash, just yeah.
Intermission of some kind.
Something. Tissue intermission. Beaver, you know, or I don't know. But so then we go to, of course, the results. And, you know, of course, they've got to introduce each other to their family, which is always sweet and kind. And I love that part of the show. And then, of course, we're all in pins and needles as viewers because we're scared to death somebody's going to get that third strike. And we want them all.
We want them all to go to day 10.
Yeah, yeah. So when they started announcing, go ahead.
Who already had
Mark.
2 strikes? What teams already
Team
had
Black?
2 strikes?
Team Black already has 2 strikes.
And anybody else, or is it just them?
No, they're the only ones, I believe.
I think, or just Team Blue.
No,
just Team
because if
Blue.
they have 2 strikes, then everybody else has to have 1 strike.
Yeah. That's right.
Day 5.
That's right.
Okay,
You got to do the math. Thank
Dan
you
the
for
math.
Take away
Dan
two.
the
Thank
math
you.
man.
Thank
Wait,
you.
raise your hand if you're a
Dan.
math teacher. Oh, that's good.
Not me.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Appreciate that. But yeah, I was really worried we'd be having somebody sent home. So when he starts telling everybody, you know, there was 8 minutes, you know, between first and a fourth place, and that you know, so little time between everybody. And then he says, but Team Red, you came in first place, and they're like, what? You could just see it on both of their faces, like, what?
They didn't believe it.
No. And he said it was because they did so well driving, and that's what I was going to talk about before, is that as they were looking for directions for their relative's house, they couldn't find it, and they asked somebody, and that person said, we don't know, but they kept asking people for them and found the address. I thought that was really funny. And so after
take charge person, and she's like,
yeah, they did. Exactly. Some take charge person. I like that. And then Team Blue comes in second, and then we're all worried. We're all worried because it's, you know, Black could have. But then Team Green gets their first strike, and I'm like, that is kind of sad when you think about it. I mean, I understand that it helps keep teams in, but here they'd been first place, had no strikes. They're the ones that didn't get the penalty for the challenge. and they still came in last place and got their first strike. So that was kind of interesting how that all worked out.
You just have a bad day.
Exactly. And that's the thing. You just never know. You never know what's going to happen. And so first place, they're going to get a benefit at the next day's challenge. So Team Red will get some type of benefit for the challenge. So that should be interesting. So, but I apologize for my technical difficulties. I'm not quite sure what's going on with my computer. It keeps telling me my battery is low, and although it's plugged in, and it's doing nothing to me tonight. So I appreciate you guys being here and holding down the fort like you always do when something crazy happens. So I appreciate that. And we would love to hear from all the relative race fans out there. What is your take on day 5? What are you feeling about the teams? And could you have done that challenge?
Yeah, and people should like and subscribe and
Exactly.
Leave
do
comments,
all the
yeah.
things.
Leave your comments and do all those things because we sure enjoy doing this and we love hearing from you. So with that, we will say good night and we will see you next time on GenFriends next time as we talk about day 6. Bye, everybody.
Bye.